Well, hello. This is Lee Thurburn, and I'm glad you're able to join us again for another episode of Livestream Lee. The purpose of Livestream Lee is really very simple. Everything I do is devoted to helping you and others learn how to have a more successful, more profitable business. I mean, let's face it, we all get into business for essentially the same reason, to be able to secure our financial future and those of our family. Well, my goal is to help you get more customers so that you can grow your business faster, be more profitable, get more time off, retire sooner, and retire wealthier. So I'm delighted you joined us today. Today, our topic is going to be digital marketing for the business to business professional. And so we're going to jump into that in just a moment. I want to introduce you to the company that I founded called Apricot Rocket. And I'd like to invite you to join Apricot Rocket, and you're naturally going to be wondering, why should I? Well, the answer is real simple. You're going to get more customers and grow your business faster. I guarantee it. Apricot Rocket is a powerful online system to help you build communities and nurture relationships. In many respects, we're similar to LinkedIn and Facebook, but our focus is on businesses and building communities and growing your customer list, not like LinkedIn on professional networking or Facebook consumer networking. Our focus is a little different. So go to apricotrocket.com, create an account. It's free. Get started for free. And then if you have any questions, give me a call. You'll find my number on the website, apricotrocket.com. I'm also today sporting some corporate swag. You can see here, let me turn this off. You can see here, and of course right up there on my beautiful, lovely model, that I have some great looking corporate swag. Well, you might want some too. And if you do, there's a guy you need to know. His name is Bob Hurt. Bob has been in the corporate apparel business for over 50 years. Now, it may sound like he's been there since Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble. The fact is, nobody knows corporate apparel better than Bob. And Bob's going to take care of you. He took care of me. He takes care of a lot of people. He gets you great quality product, great embellishment, design, decoration, as well as great quality materials at a great price. So if you're looking for corporate swag, go to livestreamlee.com. You're going to find a link on the right-hand side of the page that'll say Bob Hurt. Click on that and get in touch with Bob. Bob's a great guy. I want to tell you about a couple of things we've got coming up this week. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, the 12th, we're going to be talking about SEO and content marketing. And for those of you that aren't solidly aware, we're going to talk about what SEO is, how it works, how long does it take to have an impact on your visibility, do you need it, and importantly, what should it cost? That's a question that comes up a lot. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be talking about something that is, well, it's not normal for me to talk about, and it's the concept of social justice and businesses. Do they fit together? What is social justice? Why is it important for you to understand? And should businesses be getting involved in the whole social justice movement? I hope that I'm able to illuminate and educate and prepare you for that conversation should it come up. And then on Friday, I've got a very special guest, Julie Thurburn. She is the founder of a business called Color IQ. Her whole mission in life is to help you, the small business owner, attract more clients. She is a personal style expert. And we're going to be talking to her about the business that she's built, how long she's been doing it, and what the benefits are that her clients get. So I hope you'll come back and join me on Friday to hear from Julie. Now, today we're going to be talking about business to business digital marketing. And I've prepared this little slide, which I'm just going to leave up, which I think is going to give you a good overview of the topic. I've boiled it down to the 11 essentials of business to business digital marketing. And we're going to work through each of these and talk a little bit about them each in sequence. Now, I got to confess, each one of these could be an entire episode, and there's no way that we're going to unpack everything there is to know about digital marketing for business to business type businesses in this relatively brief episode. We have talked about a number of these things in the past, and we will talk about them again in coming episodes. As you know, marketing is maybe the most important skill that small business owners and entrepreneurs have to get their hands around if they're going to grow beyond being just a small business. So the first essential step is to know your audience. And that's a simple thing to say, but there's actually quite a bit of complexity to it. First, you have to have crystal clarity about the problem you solve, who has the problem, what the value of that problem is to them, how their antenna focus their attention on finding the problem, how valuable is that problem. There's a whole lot of stuff related to the concept of know your audience. But it really does start with research. Now, you can engage in research in a lot of different ways. You can go out and actually formally sit down and search a variety of different data-oriented websites. You can talk to people. You can call upon your experience over years in an industry. There's a lot of ways for you to engage in research. But it really does start, knowing your audience does start with the research side of things. But you want to focus your attention on clarifying and understanding the problem that you solve, the solution that you provide, and the benefit your client gets. You need to have crystal clarity on the problem that you solve, because that's the single most important thing that you have to be able to understand. Certainly, knowing how you solve the problem and being able to communicate that solution is important, as well as the benefit. Now, I will tell you from a lot of experience, the vast majority of us small business owners, the vast majority of us entrepreneurs, we love our solution. We love how we do what we do. And we have a tendency to fall into the trap of talking the language that excites us. And the fact is, our clients don't care about the language and the features that we care about. They only really care about one thing. And that is, can you in fact solve the problem they have? And what are the benefits they're going to get from your solution? So you need to think about and research. You need to understand the benefit that they get. And everything that you do in the way of communication needs to have that benefit at the center of your communication. So when I talk about research, a large part of the research is really related to understanding from your customer's perspective what the benefit your client customer gets, so that you can communicate to them about that benefit. Now, the next thing in our 11 steps, the second step is to limit your message. So know your audience and limit your message. One of the challenges that a lot of small businesses have is trying to solve problems that are too big, trying to solve too many problems. The best way to grow your small business is to focus your attention on a very specific, narrow niche in the market. Don't get too wide. Focus on a narrow, specific niche. And make sure that you understand clearly who that niche is. So we talked about problem, solution, benefit in the know your audience. The limit your message means pick a very specific subset of that overall audience and focus your attention first on them. Solve the problem clearly for the niche and talk to the niche in the language that the niche is going to understand. The third thing is to have an online presence that is attractive, engaging, and converting. This is typically a website, but it can be something other than just a pure website. There's a lot of businesses that basically live on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. They don't have a traditional website. There's a lot of businesses that are actually quite successful that don't really have what many people would consider to be a traditional website. But whatever their online presence is, it is attractive, engaging, and converting. It is attractive in the sense that the audience that you're trying to reach and the message that you're delivering is ideally suited for the online presence that you've chosen, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or any one of the other platforms that are out there. Now, in the world of business, the most common platform of choice, of course, is LinkedIn, which is where I do live streaming. And the reason, of course, is because the vast majority of small business owners have a presence on LinkedIn. There are other platforms out there like Apricot Rocket and Alignable and My Opportunity and a bunch of others that also focus attention on the business segment. You need to, of course, have a clear understanding of which one of these platforms is going to be the ideal one for you. But whatever it is, have an attractive presence that is engaging and offers the opportunity for your online presence to convert visitors into clients. Make sure that on this website presence that you have, that you're actually speaking the language to the audience that you have decided is the audience that you want to reach. Now, the next is getting found. And getting found is critically important. I think you will agree with me that you simply can't do business with somebody if they don't know you exist. And it's not their job to come and find you. It's your job to make your presence easy for them to find and come across. Okay, so that involves a lot of things. You can call it driving traffic, which is exactly what it is. But you also can call it building awareness. So getting found is one of the most critical things, and that involves things like search engine optimization, pay-per-click advertising, content marketing creation. It really is all about the effectiveness and the efficiency of your online delivery process and platform. So getting found is an important step. So once you've decided where your online presence is, simply being in that place, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook or some other platform, Apricot Rocket or some other platform, you need to go out and make sure that you implement a set of processes and steps. You have a strategy for getting found, and that takes effort. You're not going to be able to get found by large numbers of people without engaging in some effort. Some of these efforts take time, some of these efforts take money, most of them take at least some of each. You also want to have some authority in the social realm. Now, social authority essentially means having a credible presence on the social platforms that are most commonly visited and traveled and frequented by the audience that you're trying to reach. In the business-to-business arena, that is almost always, at least significantly, LinkedIn. It may not be only LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is an important presence point for you if you're trying to reach a business audience. And there's a lot of different ways that you can use LinkedIn. In fact, we probably need to have a session specifically focused on LinkedIn marketing. I use LinkedIn a lot because my audience is a business audience, and I use these live stream Lee episodes as a way of building awareness on LinkedIn. But that's not the only strategy. Live streaming isn't the only strategy that works on LinkedIn that you might want to consider. But there are other platforms out there. So having a credible presence on the social platform that is most ideal for your B2B audience is important. Another is to understand the importance of advertising. Advertising is all about building awareness. And you heard me state earlier that people can't do business with you unless they're aware of you. In fact, awareness is not only the critical first step, but it is the first step in most marketing campaigns. Now, when I say it's the first step, I don't, let's go back to the beginning of this 11 essentials of B2B marketing. You definitely need to be super clear on your audience and your market and your message and the media that you're going to get it to in front of people. But the whole purpose of your marketing starts with building awareness. Literally, you can't accomplish anything until people are aware of you. And that's actually a pretty big deal, because the average 21st century American, presuming that you're after an American audience, is inundated with marketing messages. And so you have to cut through the clutter to be able to build awareness. And where an awareness isn't a single event, it's an ongoing process. And so when you advertise to build awareness, you also need to understand that your marketing efforts need to build top of mind awareness. Top of mind awareness, that stands for TOMA. There are actually, companies that measure the TOMA score for a lot of different companies. Among the highest TOMA scores in the world are companies like Coca-Cola and Disney and IBM. Now, a really high score for top of mind awareness is not something that happens organically. It happens because over a long period of time, there's a consistent presence of a brand in the market. You think about companies like CNN and IBM and Disney and Coca-Cola, and they have been promoting their brand, their products and their services for decades. And the fact that they have nearly universal brand awareness is not a function of some unique aspect of what they do. It's not that. It's a function of a consistent visibility in the market, a consistent messaging in the market, and crystal clarity over a long period of time of what they want your perception of them to be about. So when you think about the icons of the business world, you need to realize that what you see in this iconic sort of moment in time, Apple and Samsung and IBM and Netflix and all these others that represent a pinnacle of visibility, is something that they've spent years and years building. Now, there are some exceptions, but to the decades and decades rule, like Tesla. Tesla has built a massive presence because of a unique confluence of personality and timeliness of their product. Now, first, they have a well-designed, high-quality product that is relatively unique in the marketplace, but they also happen to be the beneficiaries of an incredibly prolific personal cult around Elon Musk, similar to what you saw with Steve Jobs around Apple. And they happen to benefit from a tremendous amount of press that they've managed to acquire because of this personality of cult. So, it's, unless you happen to be blessed to be somebody personally like an Elon Musk, you're probably going to have to go a little bit more the traditional route to build that kind of top of mind awareness. What I'm really saying here is, if you have a clear solution to a serious, real problem where you can deliver a powerful benefit, if you have clarity of message and consistency of message over a long time frame, you're going to build a top of mind awareness in your market that will gradually begin to be able to be leveraged by you to gain a competitive advantage in the marketplace. You also need credibility. Credibility is an important component, and that comes from basically things like testimonials and referrals of users of your products or services that are genuine and authentic, that the marketplace can look to and believe. One of the most powerful types of credibility enhancers are video testimonials. And we live in a world where video is an incredibly important piece of the puzzle for communicating. We live in a world, actually, where people are more inclined to watch a short video than they are to read a short document. People are going to give a lot more trust and authority and credibility to a video testimonial than they are to a written testimonial that honestly could have been composed by your marketing department. So be sure and collect and make readily available testimonials and referrals from your current customer base so that the prospective client can grow to trust and give authority to the messaging that you are putting forward. And then it's important to also know that you have to have tools to be able to deliver these messaging. And the tools basically boil down to things like CRM database tools and email marketing tools and messaging automation tools and funnels. There's a whole variety of things out there, but you can kind of put all of this under process management. Marketing is a process, and unless you are in the impulse business of having a pack of chewing gum at the checkout counter, if you're the chewing gum manufacturer, to have your pack of chewing gum at the checkout counter isn't a serendipitous confluence of luck. It's because you've built the processes that are needed to get your chewing gum consistently on that checkout counter so that somebody can make an impulse purchase. My point here is that all successful marketing is the result of a process. And for business to business marketing, very few customer purchase decisions are made spur of the moment. The vast majority of them are made after careful consideration, where people go through a certain sequence of steps that start with considering the fact that they have a need, investigating the alternatives, making a decision, acting on their decision, hopefully enjoying the benefits of the decision that they made, and then repeating the purchase through the repeat cycle, or recommending the purchase that they made because of their affinity with you and their alignment with your brand and the message that you have, and then they share it with other people. All of those things are part of a process, not evolutionary, but a repeatable process that people go through as they decide that they need a solution to the problem that they have. Well, when they start thinking about that, you've got to be in front of them.
My apologies. I couldn't hear what you said.
Looks like she is trying to talk to me here. So she came on. There's a little process for you. So my point, let me get back on track here. My point regarding the tools are that the tools are there to help you manage the process. And managing the process basically means measuring the steps in the process. You need to measure things like how many people have you gotten your message in front of, how many people have responded, how many people have responded at different stages. Did they make a simple inquiry? Did they open an email? Did they call your office? How many of those simple inquiries were you able to carry through to the next sequence or step in the process of converting them into a client? You can think of email campaigns and drip messages. You can think of phone calls and follow-up calls. There's all kinds of ways that you engage people in a process that ends in them being a client. But you have to have the tools that are appropriate for the process, and the process has to be appropriate for the niche and the message and the solution and the audience and all of that. And then finally, you need to test. you have to understand that when you measure things, the whole concept of management, which is tied to measurement, is that when you do something, you change some aspect of what you're doing to test a different way of doing it. It could be as simple as you send out an email to somebody, and the email has two versions, version A and version B. In version A, the button that you ask people to click on when you ask them to take an action, that button is orange. And version B, that button is green. And you want to see what the click rate is in the two different colors. Every other aspect of the email may be exactly the same. So you want to see a version A versus version B differentiation response. So you're measuring subtle aspects of your communication process relative to your audience. That's a simple example of testing different kinds of messaging and evaluating how your messaging works in different audiences. Here's the thing. No message is going to work consistently over time, because over time, people are going to get used to the message, and or they're going to be tuned to different messaging techniques or language. People change, stuff changes. And so the tools that you choose need to be capable of evolving and measuring these changes. And you need to be devoted and devoted to and understand the importance of testing different messaging sort of modalities or paradigms, different aspects of how you message. It might be subtle shifts in language. It might be subtle shifts in imagery. It might be positioning. There's just a lot of different things that your messaging needs to constantly be testing. And you can't do that without the tools that are important for you to be able to collect the data to allow you to evaluate and make decisions about how to improve your processes. So the 11 essentials of B2B digital marketing are, as you see here, know your audience, be limited in your message. Don't try to be all things to everybody. Have an attractive, engaging, and converting online presence. Be sure that you are in a place where you can get found, that you have social authority, that you spend effort and time advertising and building a top-of-mind awareness of brand. Make sure that there's credibility associated with you, that you have the tools and the tools that you need, that you use those tools to measure the efficiency of the processes you're putting in place, and then test, test, test. This is the 11 essential sort of steps or important markers on a successful B2B campaign. I hope that this has been helpful, and that if you have questions, you'll reach out to me, because I'm glad to help. And again, I hope that you'll go to Apricot Rocket and create an account to employ the tools that we offer to allow you to be able to become a more effective B2B marketing, or B2C. It works either way. Now, one of the reasons that you build your business, one of the reasons that you got into business was because, if you're like me, your business is probably your single most important financial asset. And at some point, you're going to want to retire and go smell the roses, go fishing, whatever it is that is your dream of a perfect retirement. Maybe you want to work for a long time and just scale back. It doesn't matter. But at some point in time, you're going to want to sell your business. And when that time comes, you need a guy like Bob Hampton. Go to livestreamlee.com, and on the right-hand side, you're going to see a button for Bob Hampton. Bob is a business financial planning expert. He's a financial planner, but he focuses his attention on helping business owners prepare for that day and time when they're going to want to sell their asset. And I will tell you right now that Bob is excellent at this. He has great advice, and you should give Bob a call before you get to that point in time. you should have a relationship with a guy like Bob, and Bob's a great one to have, who is really versed in the techniques and the tax laws and the different kinds of legal structures that you can implement so that when that day comes, you get the maximum after-tax value out of this asset that you've been building for so many years. So go to livestreamly.com, click on the Bob Hampton button. Bob's a great guy and a good guy to talk to. And then, of course, go to apricotrocket.com, create an account, and we'll see you back here tomorrow where we talk about SEO and content marketing. I hope you'll come back and join me another day for another episode of Livestream Lee. Thank you.